All right, folks, welcome to LA. Raptors and the Clippers tonight, the back-to-back for Toronto. And in fact, Toronto has actually fared better in the back-to-backs on the second night than they have on the first night. They have only 2 wins on the first night. They've got 5 on the second night. And maybe after last night, Eric, it's time to bounce back. That was, we talk about it all the time. That was one of the, maybe 10 games this year where there was just no competitive fight in the team. They just kind of let it go, and it got away early. I mean, the first quarter was okay. They were hanging in, but it got away in the second quarter, got away on them, and they were done.
Well, and the worst part about it, Jonesy, and we said this on the air as well for folks that were still listening, and if you were, you probably deserve a medal of some sort. The worst part about that, you're right, it has been, let's say, 10 times, 12 times, whatever it is over the course of the season, but it's twice in the last 3 games when you think about starting off the road trip with an unbelievable win in Oklahoma City, following up that effort with that absolute egg in Denver, coming back with a solid effort and leading for the better part of 2.5, 3 quarters against the Suns before frittering away.
4 minutes to go in that game, and you're
up
ahead.
6.
Yeah.
You're up 6 with 4 minutes to go, and you close the game on a 17-3 run to lose it. But it was still a solid game overall. You followed that effort up with what we saw last night, twice now in 3 games, getting blown out by 30-plus points. I mean, that's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it.
And as we said last night, look, the Denver one, not that you ever make an excuse for that, but could you see it coming? An emotional letdown after a big win, the altitude, the back-to-back, Denver being so... Again, not an excuse.
You can kind of understand.
You can rationalize.
But you can't understand last night.
Last night it was and
arrested team.
Look, and here's the other thing, too. We were at practice the last couple of days. It's not like Jay Triano wasn't prepared or didn't say to his team, this is the way they're going to play. Scott Roth, one of the assistants, you heard it in the pregame, was a Don Nelson assistant for years. Everybody knew, and I think Golden State just hit them, got those guys on the floor off balance, and they never got it back.
And one of the big storylines, obviously maybe the biggest storyline outside of giving up 45 points in the first quarter, which is a franchise record for an opponent in the first quarter.
80.
Other than 84 points in the first half, which is also a franchise record for any half for an opponent. But Julian Wright, and as we are recording this right now, there still isn't really any new information regarding what happened last night. There was some discussion that Julian may have been sick. Just before he was asked to go into the game, he apparently had gone to the washroom, which is not usual, not standard for an athlete to leave the bench and to go to the washroom. And the only time that happens is like if it's an emergency or if the guy isn't feeling good.
Yeah.
So there was some talk of that, and did that play into the reason why he refused to, or did he simply say, no, forget it. You didn't use me during the game. You're not putting me back in now. I'm not going in. If that's the case, then it's obviously going to be dealt with. And dealt with it, I would say, very soon, Jonesy, before the end of the season. So it's kind of still unfolding. We don't have any more news for you. We wish we did, but I'm not sure what the latest will be or what the follow-up may be.
Team is going through. They're having their meeting right now in preparation for the Clippers. Brian Colangelo answered Dave Feschuk from the Toronto Star and said the matter will be handled internally. Although that being said, I did see Julian Wright at one point. We saw him coming down the tunnel, and at the arena in Oakland, the visitors' entrance is at the other end of the court from the bench. They have to get up and walk across the court, probably about 75, 80 feet, and then past the Golden State bench and up the tunnel. I did see Julian Wright coming back down the tunnel, just kind of caught the corner of my eye. I didn't know that he'd left the bench area. We were so focused on the game and what was happening on the floor. And you have to be with Golden State because it goes up and down so quickly. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. And, I mean, look, refusing to go into the game, that's a punishable offense. Would be either a suspension or a fine or something of the sort. You can't do that. I mean, I don't care how upset you are. It's something, to me, where you go in the game and then you knock on the coach's door after the fact and then you have your chat. You don't make a public spectacle like that, although it wasn't until later after the game that we were actually informed of the incident. But still, that's something that, you know what, you're an employee, you're being paid handsomely to do that. I don't care how upset you are. You do your job, and then we'll talk about it later.
Now, we should mention as well, for what it's worth, and then just my opinion, could be wrong, I didn't believe yesterday, a week ago, a month ago, that Julian Wright was going to be back with this team next year as well. And that's not a knock on Julian. I've gotten to know him over the course of the season. He is generally a very good guy, a very approachable guy, a very low-key, down-to-earth kind of person, and a guy that you kind of look at and say he doesn't have that usual attitude or ego that you often see with a professional athlete. Yeah. I've got nothing bad to say about Julian Wright. What he did last night, if it wasn't for a good reason, and if it truly wasn't warranted, if he wasn't sick, it's completely inexcusable. But all that said, when the season ends in 3 weeks, I don't know about you, Jonesy, but I don't believe he's going to be back in a Raptor uniform anyway. So does that change the way they handle things if it wasn't for a legit reason or whatever? I don't know, but I don't think he was going to be back with this club next season anyway.
Well, let's see what happens. I mean, we don't know. Nobody knows. The only two people that know right now, or the only guy that knows right now, is Julian Wright. Hopefully he'll have a chance to talk to the coaches and then get this thing smoothed out and get it settled. Clippers tonight.
Two quick things, though, before we go to the Clippers.
The Blake show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all know about the Blake show and everything else. We want to get to the Phil Jackson show.
Oh, the Phil Jackson. We are in LA.
Come on. See, we've been saying we meant to do it in LA last time when we played the Lakers. We meant to do it last season, and it didn't happen. So Paul Jones is finally, after 3 years of talking about it,
You're going to be disappointed, folks.
Phil Jackson impersonation. I just want to quick plug for the
I was going to plug the T-shirt.
Hope for Japan T-shirt. Entropy.com/Japan. Go to it right now. ENTRPY.com/Japan. $20. All proceeds going to the Japanese Relief Fund. Folks, I'm proud of the shirt, and thanks to the folks at Entropy and Desiware for helping me out with this. And I know a lot of you out there have purchased it. And thanks for all of your support. And hopefully we keep it going. It's been less than a week. It's been 4.5 days, and we've raised about $2,000 already. So
awesome.
Outstanding. Thanks to all of you. But now, Phil Jackson. I'm going to grab the camera. And I don't know if it's going to be a 10-second or a minute-long impersonation, but the Phil Jackson.
I need a higher chair to start with, and I do need my glasses, and it would be much better if I was wearing my suit.
I don't have the glasses, and I don't have a higher chair, but here we go.
Phil usually sits on that high chair with his arms folded in front of him with that look on his face. And there it is, Phil Jackson.
I love it. All right, folks, Clippers and Raptors tonight.